It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. Brown goes inside. Oh, what a slam from Jaylen Brown. Oh, Pritchard banks in the three at the buzzer. Great in and out dribble. Oh, he set off the smoke detector.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to your Celtic Source, home of your two favorite teams, the Boston Celtics and whoever beats New York. And that's certainly what the Pacers did last night. I didn't even get a chance to talk to you about, any of these series. We did a prediction at the beginning.
Yeah.
But before, we talk about the Celtics, I want to quickly get your takes on both these series.
Well, I will say I think the Pacers-Knicks is more competitive than I actually anticipated. Knicks can't close games. They can't close out games. I think they cannot close out games.
I love how you're saying that after what they did to the Celtics.
Okay, but I think they only won on the Celtics. I think they only won 2 games. I think the Celtics lost the rest. Against the Pacers, you got to win games, and I don't think they can close out and win games. They've been up, they've been close, they've been there, and they can't finish. And I think the Pacers are finishing games, right? And I think you see it. They're close games.
Yeah, I think Tyrese Haliburton might be rivaling Jalen Brunson for best clutch time player.
I mean, there's no question. Listen, I think we underestimated the Knicks, and I think they deserve credit for that. They are a better team than anyone thought they were, or at least most of us. I'm sure our colleague and good friend Stephen A. always knew that they were top notch. But with all due respect, Stephen A., they can't close out games. So that's my opinion. I think, look, Knicks better than I thought, but I don't see them taking down the Pacers here. I just really don't. They needed to take one of those games, and they could have, and they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers are now they won 3 games on the road against the Cavs, and now they've won both here in Madison Square Garden. They're just have been elite on the road.
Yeah.
But that game 1, right, where the Knicks choked away a 17-point lead or whatever in that fourth quarter.
Hey, we showed them how to do it. Yeah. They couldn't have done that if we hadn't taught them the way.
That's fair. Did they really blow that game, or did the Pacers just put on one of the greatest performances in NBA playoff history? 8 points in the final minute. Second coming of Reggie Miller.
If you let any team put up 8 points in the final minute, if you let any team come back from a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, you blew that game. They're not playing the local basketball team at Schmobo High, right? Like these are the Eastern Conference Finals. So you're up 17 in the fourth quarter. You can't close games out. Period. End of story. I don't care what the other team is doing. You still have to play defense. You still have to get shots in. Maybe you only win by 4 or 5 or 3 in the end. You can't lose that game. You just can't. You can't.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I just think that right in the game 1, the Knicks just missed all these free throws down the stretch, which helped the Pacers get 3 points.
Yeah.
In transition. In the second game, the Pacers were missing free throws down the stretch, and still they found a way late in that game to pull away. And the reason, I think, is just because the Knicks run out of gas. The Pacers played 10 guys.
Yeah.
Any of them could score.
I mean, it doesn't hurt that Siakam was white hot, right? I mean like he was just like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of those points are just, transition. Like for a Pacers team that plays that quickly, a transition basket like that is basically just points with the clock stopped. Because, there was this rebound where I think I forget who shot it. Maybe it was Jalen Brunson from the top of the key with like maybe like 2 minutes to go or something like that. Still a close game at the time.
Yeah.
Right. And Mikal Bridges crashes from the top of the key and leaves Siakam, who was guarding him, just to run ahead and
And gets the easy
gets the
layup.
pass and just sprints full court pass. Like, that's a free point. Maybe took 1 second to make that play.
Yeah.
And you go from, maybe down 2 to now down 4 with a chance for the Pacers to set their defense again. You got to go down and get the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Pacers are the better team. They're the deeper team. I think the Knicks are not living up to their potential, but that's the whole point at this stage. If you want to win at this stage of the season, if you want to win the whole thing, you got to be healthy, play through injury, and you have got to play to your peak. You're not going to show up and just get a free game against the Hornets anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that's not where we are. You got to always be at the top, and the Knicks are not playing that ball, and they're losing.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, right? I think if you take one Knicks player and match it up with the Pacers player, you'd say probably the Knicks player is better, right? I think Jalen Brunson is slightly better than Tyrese Halliburton. I definitely think Cat is better than Siakam, right? You go down the line, right?
And yet,
as a team,
that's why you play the games. That's why you play the games.
You have two guys from the Knicks playing 40, 44, 45 minutes, right? Which is lower than some of the games they have played.
It's a lot. Though.
You have the lowest or the highest minutes for Indiana Pacer team was at 37, and you have that's
don't forget the intensity of those minutes. This isn't like 44 minutes on game 36 of the season, right? Where you just like needed the guy out there. Every minute is intense here, right? They're exhausting minutes.
Yeah, the Knicks are struggling.
It's physical. They're hard minutes, don't you think?
Oh, of course. Yeah, but especially with the way they're letting the guys play and whatever in certain.
Yeah. Now let me say, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we can move on to the Western Conference.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All of this is great and fine and interesting. And OKC looks like a hurricane.
I had the Wolves in 7.
Me too. They are dismantling that team.
And it's all second half because the Wolves, are bringing the heat on from the beginning. And then in that second half, they're just nowhere to be found.
It's impressive to watch. They're doing to teams what the Celtics did last year, which is basically just manhandling them. And the games aren't even close, really, right? For a while, the first half, right? But
and there's one major thing that I think is the reason why.
What is it?
Right? The Oklahoma City the Thunder are putting their best defender on Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Right? And the other role guys have not been able to, pick up the slack as much. That's part of the problem. The flip side of that is Anthony Edwards is the Wolves' best defender, but you can't put him on Shea because he'll pick up too many fouls, and you can't risk that. So the Thunder are able to put their best defender because it's not Shea, and risk him fouling out, whereas the Wolves can't do that, and that's Shea's just able to get wherever he wants, and you're not stopping his plays anyway, even with Anthony Edwards, but you could at least, get a little bit better of a contest because you don't have a chance.
I think that's a good observation. They are just dominating the Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you seen in this series?
You look a lot at, the bigs, right? We all know that Rudy Gobert is not an offensive player, right? He's not providing much, but you can't be, being out physical. The physicality from Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, that can't be more than what the Wolves are doing. You're already, limited offensively. You can't be then being, just controlled on both ends of the floor.
I think Chet's one of the guys to watch. I think Gobert needs to take him out of the game more. I think they're letting him. I think they're letting him play too much down low.
Yeah, the defense from the Wolves is, I think, the most concerning part of this all because, you have to find a way to just slow them down just a tiny bit and give a chance to stay in these games. But the Wolves, a lot of drop coverage and, you know, not fighting over screens as much because you don't want to pick up that foul because, they fight over a screen
Yeah.
and Shea just decides to run into you if you try and do that and pick up a free trip to the line.
Yeah, I don't see a path for anyone to take down OKC. I mean, I don't want to say they're a lock because that's why they play the games, but feels like it.
They 5-1 over Pacers at most.
Yeah, well, what do you think? Do you think back in Minnesota? Do you think the Wolves take a game or two in Minnesota? What do we think?
I think they take one. I think they take game 3. But then the Thunder win 4 and 5.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Here's the thing: the Pacers and the Thunder are actually pretty much the same team. Just the Thunder are another step above them. Like they're the same type of style, right? They get their points on transition, free points to the basket. They turn you over like 15 times and just sprint to the basket. That's what the Thunder do, right? In this series, I think in game 2 actually, the Wolves or the Thunder, the Thunder had forced 15 turnovers on the Wolves, and they converted those into 30 points. So that is not only a plus 30, but it's also you not scoring on the other end. So that's basically a 60 point gap.
Yeah, it's hard to overcome that.
You can't overcome that.
I need to change gears on something though that is even more important than all of this, which is, have you noticed the Indiana Pacers fans? And have you noticed the Oklahoma City fans? The Oklahoma City fans sit in their seat and a basket is scored and they clap and they sit in their seat.
Golf clap.
Yes. They don't stand up. They don't shout. It is the most tame, boring arena. I can't even believe it. And I'm also going to go on the record and say, I think it is absolutely ridiculous when arenas won't sell tickets to opposing fans. How insecure are you about you and your team and your whatever? They're like, oh, well, we have to keep the Wolves fans out. It has to only be our own fans. I think it's so lame. Like you let in the other fans. Let people
Sixers fans had to do that for New York in that game 7 last year.
No, but this is like a policy. Like in the playoffs, they geofence ticket. They have geofence. Ticketmaster geofence, so anybody outside of a certain area is not able to buy a ticket.
That's crazy.
It's so lame. It's so lame. Grow up. Let people in the building. We would never in Boston say, oh, Yankees fans can't come to Fenway Park. We want them in Fenway Park.
They come to Fenway Park.
I know.
Red Sox fans.
We would never say to, Cavs fans or Knicks fans or don't come to the Garden. Because, we have to only have Celtics fans here. We'd be like, come to the Garden, we're going to punch you in the face. Of course, we didn't. But so I just think it's so lame. And they just sit there. So I'm going to just call them out right now. I think they're going to win. Congratulations. I hope they do. First time ever. Huge. Way to go, Oklahoma. But, fans, you've got to do better.
I don't know the last time that an MVP won the finals that year.
Jokic
was not MVP that year.
He wasn't when Denver won. He wasn't MVP.
Nope, it was Embiid that year. He won the year before, the year after.
You're right. What do you think about that? Give me 2 seconds. Do you think Shea versus Jokic?
Well, I mean, we just saw it.
Yeah. Who should have been MVP?
Oh, you're saying who should? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Shea.
You think so?
I mean, Shea just has a bunch of defensive dogs with him. So it's really hard to think but he didn't do much of the work to like get a lot of these free points and whatever. But still, he doesn't have a big second option with him. Like J-Dub has been pretty quiet in these playoffs, to be for real.
Yeah.
Jokic, they won some of those games against the Thunder on some just lucky bounces from Eric Gordon, that dunk that he had on the miss.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of voter fatigue. Like, you don't want him getting it like the fourth time. Like,
yeah, I actually think Jokic was better, but I understand. It's hard to go, right? You go either way.
Mhm.
All right, so predictions. I'm going to go OKC now. I'm going to eat my words on the Wolves.
Yeah. Obviously.
We in the business admit when we make a bad hot take, and there's a bad hot take. I don't think the Wolves are coming back. I think it's OKC over Pacers. I think it's going to be 6 though, not 5. I think the Pacers are going to push them more.
Really? I just feel like they play the exact same style. And the Thunder just don't turn the ball over themselves. So the Pacers are going to be.
So you think 5? You think 5?
Yeah. I think it's going to be just like that Nuggets Heat series 3 years ago, where it wasn't really competitive at all.
Yeah. Well, it was embarrassing to be a Heat fan in that series. It's always embarrassing to be a Heat fan, but
I mean, after you won on a Jayson Tatum turned ankle.
I mean, that's not their fault.
No.
So, but
that does mean, if we can transition over here to the Celtics, that is 2 marks against Jaylen Brown. You have that Game 7 against the Heat where he wasn't able to perform, and you have Game 6 in this series where he just doesn't perform.
Would you move him?
I'm kind of thinking maybe, because I think you could get a lot for him. He basically, if you do that, then you don't have to get rid of Holiday or Porzingis, or maybe you get rid of them anyway and you get even lower below the tax apron. But I just think Tatum and White are the keys to the future.
You lose if you keep. Now remember though, you're keeping Holiday at 35. Like, you only really got 2 good years left here. One of them is a wash with Tatum. So that's the challenge. Like, you're going to lose the defense. You're going to be weaker at the perimeter on defense.
I just don't know. Like, I mean, Holiday was not great on defense at it.
He was better in the second half of the season. He was better, I thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. It will be very interesting to see what our friend Brad does. Now, as watchers of this show know, we text Brad routinely to get updates from him, and he never responds. So that's not cool, Brad. It's not cool. Okay. So Alex Cora, he'll respond, but Brad, what do you do?
You know what he responds? He puts Trevor Story batting cleanup. That's what he does.
You can't complain with 19-3, dude. I'm not gonna. You can't.
I can complain about him batting 0.64 in the month of May, and him not benching him.
That you can complain about.
He has 40. He has. I think he has over 70 plate appearances. He has 2 doubles.
What about this? Hear me out. 3-way trade here.
Okay.
Jaylen Brown to the Blue Jays, Guerrero to first base for the Red Sox, okay, and
Trevor Story,
Cassis and Story to the Celtics.
Cassis is tall enough; he can play.
Yeah, I mean that solves a lot of problems.
All right. Sure. No. Let's say, they don't move Brown. They maybe move Porzingis. They maybe move Holiday. They make some moves around the edges like that. How far realistically can this team
go? If Tatum is not back for the playoffs, they can make the second round. If Tatum is back, they can make the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
just
the
think
limit, I think.
yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before,
Now,
but
I would just say this. Brad Stevens has shown that he is bold and aggressive and can find assets and people that are a little overvalued. So
I
if
just
he can
think the league,
yeah, I mean, if he can pull a rabbit out of a hat somewhere, like maybe the ceiling's a little higher, but
the
we can
league
count on
is
that.
the league is smarter than they were when Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens fleeced the Nets. Like, I think teams know Holiday's worth too much. They're going to try and keep them on the Celtics and force them to go over the luxury.
No, I think people will. There's plenty of teams that'll act in their best interest that aren't even competing with the Celtics. Like, if you get a good opportunity to get better and get a
So,
player like Holiday, like,
$30 with Holiday,
what's
30
that?
million, 35 million with Holiday, whatever.
Assuming you're paying the whole thing, what if you Celtics are eating half that salary and you get 2 years of Drew, you get a year of Drew Holiday for 17 million bucks? Like that makes you a better team, right?
Oh,
So
of course.
and there's so it's one thing if you say like, oh well, the Pacers or the Knicks or the Cavs are going to try and maybe would try and manipulate so the Celtics were hurt for a couple more years. But there's lots of other teams that are just like, yeah, if we can fleece the Celtics because they're stuck, like, yeah, it helps them out, but we get the better of the deal. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Celtics are in this like situation where they're okay to get less in return as long as the money goes down. I think that's
They have to. Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
They don't have a choice.
So like
Choice. So,
you're not going to get 5 first-round picks for Drew Holiday like you got from Mikal Bridges in New York. Like that's just not happening.
although you got to give everybody poo-pooed that trade. They've made the Eastern Conference Finals, even though they're going to lose for the first time in 25 years. Hard to be too tough on that trade. Like it's worked out.
Yeah, but he hasn't worked out specifically. I don't think.
Maybe.
I mean, there's a lot of issues with Cat as well right now.
Yeah.
What I want to see next year is for Derrick White to be a true second option or even first. I want him scoring 25 a night.
You want him to be all NBA first team?
No.
No?
All NBA first team?
Yeah.
You mean White? No, I think he should be able to be all NBA third team.
I want him first.
Yeah. Well, he didn't make all NBA defense this year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I think it does.
I hate that they wait to do all these awards until after the playoffs have already been in full swing. Like, I know technically it's a regular season award, but I'm just wondering if there is a little bit of, bias in these playoffs. You'll never know, but there has to be.
I thought we were talking about the NBA. Of course there's bias. There's no way they let these games go 4 and out. There's no way. There's like you're gonna watch in the next game, they're gonna foul out SGA, right? Or you're gonna see Tyrese Halliburton get double technicals. Or they are not gonna let these games go out like this.
One more thing
serious
on that Thunder Wolves series, right? If Anthony Edwards guards Shea, maybe the rest will be like, we don't want to put the game in our hands. We're not going to call these fouls because it's better for the league if Anthony Edwards is still in the game. So maybe he gets away with some defensive stuff, and then it works out for the Wolves.
That's how they do it.
Yeah. So maybe the Wolves should try that in Game 3. Put Anthony Edwards on Shea.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something different. So why not?
I mean,
why not? All right. What are your closing thoughts? Give it to me.
Yeah. I mean, we have three guys next year that I think will carry the team, right? It's White, Pritchard, Brown. I think those 3 guys are staying. Whether you want Brown or out, I just think Brad Stevens likes him too much. It's going to keep him.
Yeah. Well, if you do that, then Porzingis, Holiday, and Hauser are gone. So that's your call. There's no other way to make the money match.
I just think you can make up for Hauser. Like, he just didn't provide that much.
Dude, I love Hauser. He's a great player. I think if you got to make choices, it's a choice you can make.
Pritchard made his improvement last year, and has become one of the unguardable players.
He is. Did you know that? He's unguardable.
Led you right into that one.
Yeah, you set it up. I'll knock it down.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this:
But Hauser, with his injuries this year, just didn't take that step that we thought maybe he would.
And it feels like we're projecting. It feels like Shireman can step into a Hauser role.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if Hauser plays that role at an A, Shireman's a B, but he can fill that role, I think. So I think you sort of have to make that choice. I think a lot will depend on what happens with Cornette and if Horford comes back. That's going to tilt the decision making, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely going to re-sign Luke. There's no chance.
I don't know. People around the league tend to think no because they think it's just too much.
Well, they should sign and trade him then. I don't know. All right. Well, we'll see. In the meantime, tonight's game, I'm
actually picking the Thunder, to be honest. I think it could be a sweep.
I'm going Wolves by 1.
You're not going Wolves by 1. I know you're not thinking that. I know you want the Wolves to win, but I know you know that the Thunder are winning tonight.
I know. I do actually think the Thunder are going to win, but I'm going Wolves by 1.
I know.
Go Wolves. All right. In the meantime.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow on social media. We will have reactions after all of these games, coverage through the NBA Finals, and then we'll sort of any big news coming from the Celtics, which probably won't happen until after the finals. But we'll keep you updated in that. And until next time, go C's.
Go C's.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured.